Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse. Today, my ear holes and my eye sockets were privy to another Murphy, Napier, and Daniel Green team-up video where they actually went over fantasy characters and tried to place them in the D&D universe. What kind of Dungeons and Dragons characters would they be? And I am actually a part of something that hasn't kicked off yet. I wanted to do an announcement on it and kind of flip their video around and talk about what if Dungeons and Dragons characters were fantasy characters and in a fantasy setting. And we actually have a series that is just that. This is coming but from 1984, the year that Dungeons and Dragons crawled up out of the basement into popular fantasy fiction. And this book series is the Dragonlance Chronicles. The first 3 books in the Dragonlance series, which has since been added to by a lot of different authors, a lot of different storylines. But the original are these 3 books right here. Here, here, and here are my old paperback editions I read when I was a kid. Here is the bind up by Penguin. They call this a Penguin Collector's Edition Dragonlance Chronicles. This is Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Dragons of Winter Night, and Dragons of Spring Dawning. This book is basically a Dungeons and Dragons campaign put into fantasy form. It is amazing plot. It never stops. There's all kinds of different plot lines concerning the different characters. But today, what I'm going to do is introduce some of the characters that we're going to be meeting, the main characters in this series, and talking about them a little bit. And I will let you know how the huge group of booktubers that are in this read-along. And I do encourage anybody to read along with us because it is an amazing trilogy. We're going to be doing 1 book a month, so it's not going to be tough at all. It's easy reads, those kind of things. So, first we have Tannis Half Elven. Tannis Half Elven is this guy right here, if you see. He's red hair. He is half human, half elf. So what that means is he has a very long life. Elves live for a lot longer than human beings do. He has the human nature, but he has an elven quality to him, and he's kind of in between those 2 worlds. Humans don't exactly accept him as 100% like in their fold because he's going to outlive everybody, right? He's not exactly human in that way. But the elves don't really bring him into their culture either. There's a lot of, animosity there because of his human nature. He's a very interesting character, and he's a fighter, essentially. We have Tasselhoff. Tasselhoff is a kinder. A kinder is a little person. Like, so there's the kinder. Might be a little blurry, but I'll do my best. So, as far as Dungeons and Dragons, kinders make good like thieves. They're very resourceful, very kind of charismatic. They're just fun little characters to play, that kind of thing. And Tasselhoff is like Tannis's best friend. He's a great character. We have Tikka, the barmaid. Tikka is this rare red-headed fighter right here, and she is a barmaid at this bar where they meet up at the beginning of the Dragonlance Chronicles. All the characters have dispersed through the world of Krynn. That's the name of the world that we're in, Krynn, Krynn. And they've dispersed through the world, gone back to where where their people are and these kind of things, because something is happening in the world that's not exactly known, not exactly something that's on the surface, and they're trying to see what's going on. And what has happened is dragons are coming back to the world. Along with dragons coming back, then there is a whole host of kind of the old gods and good and evil and powers on the in the world that have not been at play for a very long time. We have some of the most interesting characters, I think, in the whole series is Raistlin and Caramon. And I'm talking about them together because they are twins. Raistlin, or Raistlin, I always called him Raistlin. But he's a wizard, and Caramon is a fighter. And they are twins. But I kind of look at them like that old movie, Twins, with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they are twins, but they're completely opposites. Like one got everything that the other one didn't get. And so Arnold Schwarzenegger's just this smart, perfectly built man. And Danny DeVito is like all the leftover crap. It's a hilarious old movie if y'all haven't seen Twins. But so Caramon is this ideal fighter. He's not very smart, but it's not that he's not smart. He's smart enough. He's just not especially endowed in that way. He's more of a physical person, and he's an amazing fighter, an adept, actually. Now, Raistlin is one of the most wonderful characters and goes through some of the coolest story arc in this series, and I can't wait to re-experience it, because when we meet Raistlin, we meet everybody at one time. They meet back up at this bar, and they're talking about the last few years that they were separated from each other, and Raistlin has changed. Raistlin is wearing red robes, which is a kind of neutral, not good, not bad. But Raistlin definitely has negative tendencies. He's actually just all about power. He's all about gaining power, magic power, and being able to do amazing things. He has eyes. His eyes are no longer a regular human-shaped eyes. His pupils are the shape of an hourglass. And he sees everything in reference to time and decay. Amazing. So they have a half-sister named Kitira, who does not show up at the meeting, when they're meeting back up. So she's the only one that does not show up back, and she remains a mysterious kind of figure throughout part of the first of the trilogy. There's Sternum. Sternum is this guy right here. Sternum is a knight that is part of an order, and there is a wonderful story arc with Sternum, and he actually has some of the more endearing qualities, very, very honorable, chivalrous, and he has an amazing storyline. I'm not going to get into it, and because I remember parts, but I can't wait to re-experience this story. Goldmoon is a cleric. So Goldmoon is the blonde with the staff that is in the middle here. Goldmoon is not part of the original group. She shows up with, I think his name is Riverwind, who is her husband or her betrothed. Maybe they're not married yet. But they have been kind of ostracized from their society, from their group, and she is a cleric. A cleric is like a priestess that has magical powers, but only for the good. And her staff is very special and has some properties to it that are super cool. And then, of course, last but not least, we have Flint. Flint Fireforge is his name. and he's a dwarf. What fantasy doesn't have a dwarf, right? And Flint is your kind of stereotypical dwarf. He's short, stocky, mad strong, gruff, lives in they live in mountains. His society lives in the mountains. They are miners, these kind of things, and he carries a big battle axe that is completely awesome. So this series was very formative to me as a young reader, and and I used to play D&D back in the day, and I loved it. So I will give you the back of the first book real quick. Dragons, creatures of legend, stories told to children. But now dragons have returned to Krynn. The darkness of war and destruction threatens to engulf the land. Then hope appears, a blue crystal staff in the hands of a beautiful barbarian woman. The promise of hope, as fleeting as smoke upon the autumn wind, forces a group of longtime friends into the unlikely roles of heroes. Knight and barbarian, warrior and half-elf, dwarf and kinder, and a dark-souled mage, they begin a perilous quest for the legendary Dragonlance. So, it is just like you would think of a D&D game. You have a motley kind of ragtag group that are in a unique position to go on a quest, and their strengths, the individual strengths that each character brings, is going to be essential. And you never know where the plot's going to go. There are a lot of dragons. There is a lot of action. This series is all plot, and the characters are very well done, but it is all plot. It is just very cool. And so I'll finish it up just to give you the list of booktubers that are going to be in on this with us. It's going to be pretty awesome, and their links will be in the description box. She Was Only Evie, Sarah Reeds, Christy Louise Dostoevsky in Space, The Contradictorian, The Almost Book Doctor, Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and myself. Everyone who reads it must converse. We're going to start with the first book in June. We'll read the second book in July, and then we'll read the third book in August. So, like I said, really laid back read. I definitely suggest it. Thank you very much, BookTube. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. See you next time. Bye.